So in this session, we are going to look at multiplexing. So what is multiplexing? Bandwidth utilization is the wise use of available bandwidth to achieve specific goals. So efficiency can be achieved by multiplexing. So whenever bandwidth of a medium linking two devices is greater than the bandwidth needs of the devices, the link can be shared. So if we have a medium that has a bandwidth that is larger than the current bandwidth needs of the devices that we have, then this medium can be shared so as to ensure efficient utilization of the available bandwidth. So multiplexing is the set of techniques that allows the simultaneous transmission of multiple signals across a single data link. So several devices are able to transmit over a shared medium. So as data and telecommunications use increases, so does the traffic. So the increased use of data and telecommunications results in also increased traffic. So when multiple senders try to send over a single medium, okay, a device called a multiplexer divides the physical channel and allocates one to each. Okay, so we have a single medium and several devices or multiple senders are trying to send over this single medium. So this single medium, also the physical channel, it's divided into several other smaller channels that accommodate each and every individual sender over the single physical medium. Okay, so on the other end of communication, a demultiplexer receives data from a single medium, identifies each, and sends to different receivers. Okay, so this is how it looks like. So we have several or multiple senders trying to transmit over this single medium. So a multiplexer will divide this single medium into several smaller channels that can accommodate these multiple senders over this single medium. At the demultiplexer, the several channels are separated and sent to the different receivers. Okay, so we have types of multiplexers. So we can categorize them as analog and digital multiplexers. So under analog multiplexers, we have frequency division multiplexing, FDM, and we also have wavelength division multiplexing, WDM. So under digital, we have time division multiplexing, TDM, which can further be categorized into synchronous TDM and asynchronous TDM. So let's take a look at analog multiplexing. Okay, so under analog multiplexing, we said we have frequency division multiplexing and wavelength division multiplexing. So under frequency division multiplexing, the total bandwidth available in a communication medium is divided into a series of non-overlapping frequency bands. Okay, so we can have a single medium with a certain bandwidth. So when multiple senders want to share this medium, this bandwidth is divided into a series of non-overlapping frequency bands. It means that one frequency band does not interfere with the next frequency band. They are distinct and separate. Okay, so each of these bands is used to carry a separate signal. Yeah, in FDM, the users use the same common channel at full time, but each user is allocated with different frequencies for transmission in order to avoid signal interference. Okay, so there is possibility of crosstalk and intermodulation distortion. So it's not completely foolproof of interference. There's still a small chance of interference occurring between the different frequencies within the same medium. So FDM is used in amplitude modulation and frequency modulation broadcasting. It's also used in public telephone networks and cable TV network systems, among other uses. So this is what frequency division multiplexing looks like. Okay, so we have the analog signals, they are modulated and then multiplexed into one medium. So that is frequency division multiplexing. Then we have wavelength division multiplexing. In wavelength division multiplexing, it is designed for high data rate capability fiber cable. Here the signals are converted to light signals. Each light, which has different wavelengths, is transmitted through the same fiber cable. So the fiber cable has light divided into different wavelengths, and so multiple senders are allocated individual wavelengths in the same medium. So it divides the optical channel or optical fiber bandwidth into a number of non-overlapping optical wavelengths referred to as WDM channels, wavelength division multiplexing channels. So WDM mixes all incoming signals having different wavelengths and transmits over a common channel. So the demultiplexer does the reverse operation and separates the wavelengths. So this is which you see here. So WDM is divided into two types. We have unidirectional WDM and bidirectional WDM. Unidirectional means data is sent only from one side and received on the other side, while bidirectional, it means that data can be sent from both sides, which means that both sides can do multiplexing and demultiplexing. So you can see a single fiber channel that consists of several wavelengths within the same channel. So each user is allocated a different wavelength within the same optical fiber channel. At the demultiplexer, they are again separated into the individual wavelengths. So we also have the digital multiplexing, which is the time division multiplexing. So here the signals will operate at the same frequency, but they'll be allotted different time slots. So it is a technique of transmitting signals, several signals, over a single communication channel by dividing the time frame into slots. So equal slots. So the signal transmitted can occupy the total bandwidth of the channel, and each signal will be transmitted in its specified time period only, and it occurs like in a round robin manner. So all the signals will operate at the same frequency but at different time slots. So in TDM, all the signals will be transmitted one at a time, not simultaneously. Synchronization between the multiplexer and the demultiplexer is a major issue. If they are not properly synchronized, then a bit belonging to one channel may be received by another channel. So synchronization bits are always added to the beginning of each frame. So they allow the multiplexer and demultiplexer to synchronize and separate the time slots accurately. So TDM just involves the same frequency but different time slots are allocated to the different senders. Okay, so we have asynchronous TDM, we have synchronous TDM and asynchronous TDM. In synchronous TDM, the slots are arranged in a round robin manner. If there are n sources, then a single frame consists of n time slots, and each time slot is dedicated to exactly one source for carrying data from the corresponding input. So each source places its data to the link only when the corresponding slot arrives. So if a device does not have data to send, then its time slot remains empty. So you can have a disk like that, okay, each with divided into slots. Okay, so this is one time slot, this is a third one, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Okay, so every sender is allocated a time slot. Okay, so when your time slot arrives, you input your data, then the next time slot is for the next user, and so it goes so in a round robin manner, such that if we have sender A, B, C and D, A is allocated 1, B is allocated 2, C is allocated 3, D is allocated 4. A can only send when time slot 1 arrives. When 2 arrives, B will input its data. For 5, 6, 7 and 8, they'll remain empty. So like you can see here, we have the different time slots. So time slot 1 is for A, 2 is for B, 3 is for C, and 4 is for D. So every time time slot 1 arrives, A will transmit. Time slot 2, B will transmit. We'll see that in the third time the slot comes around, B has nothing to transmit, C has nothing to transmit, so the slots will remain empty. The fourth time the slot arrives, only A has to transmit, while B, C and D slots remain empty. So it means that the channel capacity is not fully utilized, because some of the time slots will remain empty when there is no data to be transmitted. And then we have asynchronous TDM. So in asynchronous TDM, the time slots are dynamically allotted to the different senders. So you're only allotted a time slot when you have data to send. It means that there's no time a time slot is left idle. Okay, so that's the difference between asynchronous and synchronous. And asynchronous is more efficient because there's efficient utilization of the available bandwidth. So the number of slots in a frame is based on statistical analysis of the number of input lines. So the number of time slots that are allotted depends on the number of input lines, whereas in synchronous, every input had a fixed time slot, but in asynchronous, the time slots are dynamic. Only the inputs, only senders that have data to send will be allotted time slot based on the amount of data that they also want to send. Okay, so that's it for multiplexing. Next time we will take a look at some practical examples. Thank you.